All right, guys. Here, here's what it is basically. So, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, "I have gotten a man for the Lord." And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth. He was upset. It was his own fault. And his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door, obviously. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. Here's why. So Cain sacrificed, he sacrificed probably some grain or some vegetables or something that he grew. Only blood can wash away sins, and this was thousands, millennia before Christ. Only way to forgive sin was by the blood of slaughtered animals. Abel killed one of his sheep and put it, I believe, I'm going to assume, on an altar. It doesn't go into that detail. Cain just basically tore up some grain and probably put it on an altar. This is why, this is an illustration of why it is absolute, I'll say blasphemy, but it's not blasphemy, it's rebellion. It's more like rebellion when you go against the plan of forgiveness of sins and justification and therefore salvation given to us by the Most High. Now we receive that through his Son, Jesus Christ. However, in the time of Genesis, they sacrificed animals. Had Adam and Eve not sinned, it would not be necessary. However, because of Adam, we inherit a sin nature that is not washed away with water baptism, unlike what the Catholics teach. So Cain got angry, like many of us do, and instead of blaming himself and learning from his mistakes, decided to kill his brother out of pure jealousy. God cursed him for this. Cain went to live in the land of Nod. Despite being cursed, he was still protected by God. It basically, so Cain was the father of Enoch, not the Enoch that preached with Elijah, but Enoch then fathered Irad, who begat Mahujael, who begat Methusael, who begat Lamech. Lamech took unto him 2 wives. First polygamist. There's your first Mormon right there. And I know the Mormons say they don't practice it anymore. Yes, they do. Many of them do. They're called America's Taliban for a reason. At least the sectarian versions are. But if you look where Joseph Smith came from, either way, this is why when I say the only way to heaven and forgiveness of sins is through the blood of Christ, this is the first illustration of that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. You go against the plan. It's another illustration of the plan of salvation, where Paul said, if any other man preach unto you a gospel that is different from the one we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. Anyone who executes a different plan of sacrifice for forgiveness of sins and then kills his brother for it, but had he not done that different plan, sin, he would have never allowed sin to overtake him, thus killing his brother. That's what happens when you don't go with the true plan of salvation. Sin overtakes your life. If you look to the cross and you look to Christ's blood, you're not going to want to sin. I know 1 John says, if we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves. Truth is not in us. And I know God's grace. I know anyone who believes on Christ shall receive remission of sins, but that doesn't mean sin is okay. And it's not okay because look where it leads. If the young man in 1 Corinthians 5:5, they say he was saved. Yeah, well, his flesh would have been absolutely destroyed. God would have killed him. All right, guys. This has been a great first live stream. I'm going to upload this to the channel. Y'all can watch it, and I hope you learn from it. And God bless. Gospel is 1 Corinthians 15:1-4, unless ye have believed in vain. And God's not a liar. So if you believe it, that's it.